Chapter 341, Procrastination Causes Trouble. Li Jun, you unreliable guy. I'm not familiar with this place. How am I supposed to get out? Fang Hao wanted to call Li Jun back, but the heavy footsteps approaching indicated a significant number of people. If he crossed paths with them, escape would be nearly impossible. Remaining calm, Fang Hao urged himself not to panic. He recalled the layout of the prison zones that Li Jun had shown him and began searching for a route. Suddenly, an alarming sound echoed from the ceiling, a sound that sent shivers down his spine. Two young police officers, wielding batons, came running towards him, causing Fang Hao's heart to leap in fear. Don't panic, don't panic. Maintain composure. Fang Hao noticed that the rank of these two officers was lower than his own. They were constables while he held the rank of police inspector. He straightened his posture, and the two young officers voluntarily made way as they passed by him. Phew! Fang Hao secretly breathed a sigh of relief. With no more officers behind him, he quickly entered a corridor. Along the way, he encountered other police officers, all of lower rank, none daring to question a police inspector like him. He headed towards the corridor, intending to exit the prison area. However, he found the main entrance sealed off. If he tried to leave, he would be subjected to inspection, risking exposure. Helplessly, he had no choice but to enter the main building's office area. Beep beep. A short whistle sounded, and Fang Hao glimpsed someone chasing after him out of the corner of his eye. Discovered? Surveillance camera? Glancing around, he noticed several cameras. Worried about facial recognition, he quickly blocked his face, entered an elevator, and kept his head down, avoiding eye contact. Rapidly devising a strategy in his mind, he felt a sense of déjà vu. He recalled having been here before, the last time he came to see Wei Wen. There was a level without surveillance, a restricted area. However, the elevator stopped at the target floor, and the doors automatically opened. Fearful that someone might be controlling the elevator from below, Fang Hao hurriedly exited. The elevator doors closed and descended on their own. He swiftly entered the emergency staircase, ascending to the executive floor. Recalling from memory, he located the leader's office. The leader, in full gear with a gun on the table, initially didn't recognize Fang Hao, assuming he was a lower-ranking officer. But Fang Hao spoke first, saying, "Leader, we meet again. I'm Fang Hao, and my mother is Professor Zhou Fen." Fang Hao? Why are you in this police uniform? Oh, the people downstairs said the intruder is you. The leader paused for a moment. It should be. I was brought in by Li Jun to question Zhang Quan. While I was treating Cheng Yu, Zhang Quan confessed to accidentally pushing Cheng Yu down the stairs. I wanted to ask a few more questions to understand how Cheng Yu got injured, so I could formulate a treatment plan. However, I was discovered. Fang Hao didn't dare to conceal the truth. Leaders hated being deceived the most. Making mistakes or even committing crimes was tolerable, but deceiving a leader was unforgivable. So, you can't leave now? The leader seemed to believe Fang Hao and put away his handgun, locking it securely. He continued, "You can meet people through legitimate procedures. Why impersonate a police officer?" "You're right, leader. I'll be more careful next time." Fang Hao sighed in relief, realizing he had made the right gamble. However, Zhang Quan is a special suspect. Regular procedures won't work. What Li Jun did can be understood, but that kid, strong physique but simple-minded, always impulsive. And now, he's caused trouble. The leader gestured for Fang Hao to sit, made a phone call, and ordered the cancellation of the alarm. He instructed Fang Hao to change out of the police uniform, and he carefully kept the uniform aside. He said, "Don't panic. I'll escort you out later. But since you're here, tell me, why haven't you gone to see your mother?" "They called me, asking me to bring you to the capital." So, the leader also knew that Zhou Fen had awakened. Fang Hao explained, actually, after she woke up, she was basically fine and could return to recover in Jiangdong City. "I heard that she only remembers me now, not anyone else. I suggested bringing her back, thinking that being surrounded by familiar people and things might help her regain her memory. But I'm just a small voice, they don't listen, and I can't do anything about it." The leader nodded, saying, "Makes sense. Your mother only remembers you, and it seems like fate is pointing towards you remarrying. Oh, don't get me wrong, I'm not prying into your personal life. Your mother spoke to me earlier, asking me to find a way for you and Xiao to remarry. She said she didn't appreciate your qualities before, only realizing it after your divorce. She approves of you now. Your mother is very reluctant to let you go. Remarry? The leader knows about my divorce with Su Ro, either from Zhou Fen or someone else." Fang Hao said, remarrying isn't that simple. Besides, solving things isn't as easy as remarrying. Suro has moved on and fallen in love with someone else. She won't come back. I believe there's no need for a remarriage. Perhaps everyone thinks that in every aspect, I'm entangled with the Su and Zhou families, and I can't escape the influence of these two families. They think I should follow their lead, do whatever they ask me to do. But in terms of emotions, I can still make my own decisions. Sigh, the emotions of you young people. The leader sighed and said, I get a headache from these matters, so I won't advise you too much. Suddenly, his tone became stern. Fang Hao, as a medical professional, tell me, how did your mother ingest that neurotoxin? Fang Hao replied, it's clear she was injected. I reviewed my mother's medical records at Tianyi Hospital. She first fell into a coma, and then doctors started resuscitation, administering saline solution. I believe if someone injected the toxin into her muscles during the time between her loss of consciousness and the resuscitation, the toxin was mixed into the saline solution. The poison entered the veins, circulated through the bloodstream, and reached the brain. This type of toxin isn't easily accessible to ordinary people. Apart from military-grade biochemical research units, or national-level labs specializing in virus research, there's no other source domestically. Of course, smuggling it in from abroad is also a possibility. Regardless, it indicates that someone wanted to harm my mother. Who do you think it could be? I'm not entirely sure, but my mother went to Tianyi Hospital, and then she got poisoned. It can't be a coincidence. Oh, have you investigated Tianyi Hospital? At first, we didn't know it was poison because she had a heart attack. By the time we confirmed it, the optimal time for containment had passed. So, up to now, there hasn't been any lockdown. Ugh, another good opportunity wasted. This is infuriating. Fang Hao said, how many people are aware of my mother being poisoned? Not many. Well, Suro knows, so Zhang Lingtian must know too. Tianyi Hospital must have taken measures, and now, we probably won't find any clues. Did Zhang Lingtian benefit from this situation? Unbelievable. Fang Hao said, Leader, my suggestion is still to lock down Tianyi Hospital. This will show our stance. From a safety perspective, it's also necessary to temporarily shut down Tianyi Hospital for rectification. The leader responded, wait a bit longer. A special task force is coming from the capital, and then we can take action here. A task force? Is it to make Zhoufan remember? That will take forever. Is the leader implying there's resistance behind this? Changing the topic, Fang Hao said, does my mother really only remember me? Yes, she only remembers you, not as a son-in-law but as a son. As a son? Then what about Suro? She loves her daughter the most. Could she forget her daughter too? She doesn't completely remember. She sees Xiaoro as her daughter-in-law, but you're divorced. What a mess. Fang Hao felt a sense of desolation and confusion. Chapter 342, That's Not Me. Hospital. When Cheng Lao and Li Dong's wife saw Fang Hao push open the door and enter, they were both shocked and relieved. Li Dong's wife asked, how did you come back? I ran into someone I knew inside, someone related to Zhoufan. He helped cover for me, so I came out. My phone is still there, ask Li Jun to get it back for me. It's good that you're back, it's good that you're back. Cheng Lao nodded repeatedly. My mother said if you were really left there, she would personally go and demand your release. If they refused, she would lie down there and refuse to leave. Wherever you go, she will follow you for treatment. Li Dong's wife added, you talk too much. Go make a call and ask Li Jun to bring back Dr. Feng's phone. Cheng Lao gave his daughter-in-law a disdainful look, annoyed by her talkativeness. Fang Hao felt touched. Cheng Lao often appeared stern, but after getting to know him, he was easy to deal with. He said, thank you for your concern. With your prayers, I am sure to turn bad luck into good fortune. Let's not say much, let's proceed with the next round of treatment. Half an hour later, Li Jun arrived at Fang Hao's office, haggard from the rush. He hugged Fang Hao, who was busy collecting response sheets, and said, it's good that you returned safely. I couldn't find you inside, and with your phone not on you, I was worried sick. You know, I was afraid those people from the Labor Bureau would knock you out, dispose of you, and then I would become the criminal. Okay, enough of that. Let me check. Did you lose any parts? Damn, what kind of secret stuff are you hiding? Li Jun tried to inspect Fang Hao. What the hell, you cheeky monkey. I'm not gay, thank you. Fang Hao pushed Li Jun away. Gay? Damn, I'm not gay either. Oh, here's your phone. You're fine. I won't disturb your work. I'm going down now. Li Jun laughed heartily, returned the phone, and left. Fang Hao opened his phone to find several missed calls, some from his ex-wife Su Ro, some from Su Buiyuan, some from Huang Yidao, Li Dong's wife, and quite a few from Li Jun. He picked Huang Yidao's call and was connected. Your phone was out of battery earlier. What's up? You brat stood me up. I told you this morning, there's a lunch appointment, Secretary Guo's granddaughter, a beautiful lady. She hasn't left yet, you still have a chance tonight. I sent you a text, hurry up and make a date. Is that all? I thought you had a non-operable knife or something. That will come later. Do you want to join? No, I'm quite busy today on my end. Can't make it. You're the chief of orthopedics, don't just feed me. Train your own people, let them grow. Fang Hao hung up. Huang Yidao called again, saying, hey, tell the truth, make the date quickly. Don't hang yourself on one tree with your ex-wife. Find someone new. There are other flowers besides the one on your branch. You know too much. Listen to your big brother. We'll talk about it later. Remember to make the call. I got it. Fang Hao hung up again, glancing at the number Huang Yidao sent. He ignored it, continuing to focus on his research on neurological aspects. Cheng Yu, this despicable woman, was a plaything of Zheng Lingtian and had a grudge against Fang Hao. Fang Hao would love to watch her demise, but if he wanted to bring down Zheng Lingtian, he had to save Cheng Yu. After work, Fang Hao went to pick up his son and found his ex-wife, Su Ro, talking to the kindergarten teacher. Why is she back? Daddy, Mommy's back. His son was very excited. Fang Hao didn't say much. He couldn't scold Su Ro in front of his son and the teacher. Su Ro held onto Fang Hao's hand. When she felt Fang Hao trying to break free, she tightened her grip and whispered, everyone is watching. Do you want to embarrass our son? You shameless woman. Fang Hao responded in a low voice. He didn't struggle, allowing her to hold on, but he found it excessive when his ex-wife pressed herself against him, even wiping oil on his arm. Noticing his wife also getting into the car, Fang Hao said, aren't you afraid of a miscarriage? Su Ro replied, I am, but I choose to believe in you, my husband. You wouldn't harm me, right? She turned to their son and asked, do you think Daddy would hurt Mommy? No. We are a family, and family members should love each other. Their son answered without hesitation. Son, you're amazing. Give Mommy a kiss. After their son kissed Su Ro, she asked him to give Fang Hao a kiss too. Sit properly and don't move around. Fang Hao scolded his son. When they reached the entrance of the residential building, Fang Hao stopped the car. He let his son get out first to take the elevator, then he stopped his ex-wife. The house is messy and dirty. You're not welcome. Go find Zhang, the old dog. Honey, don't be like this. I'll accompany our son. I miss him. Su Ro insisted, trying to go past Fang Hao. He grabbed her wrist, and she said, be careful. I have a child in my belly. If I have a miscarriage, it will be because of you this time. There are surveillance cameras here. You won't get away with it. You have no shame. I have an appointment, someone will come later. Who? I'm divorced, and I'm looking for someone new. Su Ro, who was initially smiling, suddenly froze. She met Fang Hao's unwavering gaze and felt a chill. She bit her lip and said, honey, you can't abandon me and our child. Shameless woman, you already have Zhang, the old dog. Why say these things? Don't you find it disgusting? Fine, I'll stay. I'll keep an eye on you. You can find someone new, but they shouldn't be worse than me. Su Ro had no choice but to leave. Damn, you are the most beautiful woman in Jiangdong City. Who can be better than you? Fang Hao thought his ex-wife was just finding excuses to make things difficult. Damn it, I'm looking for a woman. What does it have to do with you? He got into the car, closed the door, and dialed the number given by Huang Yidao. Surprisingly, a woman answered. He explained the situation on his end, divorced, with a child, and to his surprise, the woman said she didn't mind. She agreed to his request to come to Fang Hao's house for dinner. This woman seemed quite unique. Fang Hao sent the address and went upstairs to cook. But, he didn't have high hopes. Honey, why did you throw away my clothes? Su Ro came to complain. She found that the clothes she left at Fang Hao's place had indeed been thrown away. This is my home, and it's none of your business. I don't allow any of your things here. I gave birth to our son. Are you willing to let me take him away? You? Fang Hao glanced back at Su Ro and said, leave. She's coming soon. Don't embarrass yourself. I'm not leaving. Why should I leave? Honey, even though you're my ex-husband now, we were once a married couple with 100 days of love. I know you well, and I can't bear to see you ruin yourself by finding someone worse than me. That means you're not taking responsibility for yourself and for us every day. Suro thought Fang Hao was bluffing. She didn't believe him. Fang Hao didn't care and continued cooking. Seeing his ex-wife still there, he said, Zhang Quan is a despicable person. He not only took the blame for Zhang, the old dog, but also poisoned Chen Mei, using heavy metal toxins for chronic poisoning, the most malicious kind of poisoning. Zhang Quan? I have no connection with him, no comment. No connection? That's not true. Chen Mei told me. She saw you drunk, and then Zhang Quan took you to a hotel. I don't need to say what happened next, right? Oh, Zhang Quan admitted to it. Come on, defend yourself and try to wash yourself clean. That's not me. I'm not that despicable. Chapter 343, Mulan arrives. Fang Hao was long accustomed to his ex-wife's denial. This woman never admitted to anything. He said, then who did it? Don't know. Anyway, it wasn't me. Anyway, it wasn't you? You used this anyway, to cover up the truth. I thought you would bring out Yue Xia Huo to shield yourself. Fang Hao sneered but remained calm. Honey, there's no need for sarcasm. I have my shortcomings, but we also had a lot of happiness. In the past, there were gains and losses. Let's not dwell on it. What we want is the present and the future. Suaro, there is no present or future between you and me. Fang Hao dispelled his ex-wife's fantasies and said, let's talk about Chen Mei. You should know what she went through, right? Don't know. After I returned to Beijing, I've been accompanying my mother and didn't contact Chen Mei. Now, my world revolves around you and my family. Nothing else matters. What about Zhang, the old dog? He doesn't matter anymore? Seeing his ex-wife's silence, Fang Hao continued, Chen Mei was poisoned by Zhang Quan. She's currently being treated in the hospital by me. The method of poisoning includes food from the refrigerator, toothbrush, lipstick, etc. Even in the honeymoon period, one can't be too careful. He glanced at his ex-wife's belly and said, when you come to my house, you need to be careful of me. I might make you suffer. Of course, I also need to be careful of you. You, as a woman, are ruthless. If you can't have me, you might destroy me. I'm very afraid. Honey, I've said it. I will never harm you. Haha, you won't harm me, but you'll insult me and cuckold me. Speaking of that cuckold, I almost forgot. I remembered our wedding night. We returned from the hotel, and I wasn't drunk. I was very clear-headed. Moreover, I took a hangover pill right after leaving the hotel. I was excitedly waiting for our wedding night. However, you insisted I drink more toast wine and even another glass of water. After that, I lost consciousness. I think you did something to me. I didn't do anything. Oh, then it must be Zhang, the old dog. So, I want to kill Zhang, the old dog. He pushed Qingyu down the stairs and even let Zhang Quan come forward to take the blame. Truly ruthless and cunning. However, he injected poison into your mother, Zhou Fen. Let's see how he'll wash himself clean from this. Who will he find to be his scapegoat? Honey, you misunderstood him. He's in the rejuvenation sanatorium. Doesn't matter. Believe it or not. Zhou Fen is your mother, not mine. If you don't investigate who harmed her, it's your business. Fang Hao chopped a clove of garlic, then said, on one side is your mother, Zhou Fen, on the other is your lover, Zhang, the old dog. It's a tough choice, isn't it? No, my greatest love is you. Honey, you have to believe me. Fang Hao was already numb to Suro's words. He wasn't moved or disgusted. Like the wind in his ears. Still, he spat, saying, I'm really touched. But you're destined not to be mine. You're just a toy for Zhang, the old dog. Once he's tired of you, he'll pass you on to anyone in the Zhang family. Ah, honey, you misunderstood me. Suro shook her head. Seeing that Fang Hao had started cooking, she left. She went to Fang Hao's study and found more books, almost filling the entire space. Her husband's field of study was becoming broader and broader. He was a true genius. She saw some information about Jiangdong Group, reminding her that Fang Hao had acquired the shares from Sun Jingwei of Lantian Group. He was now the largest shareholder in Lantian Group. Fang Hao was researching Jiangdong Group, and the next step would undoubtedly be a head-on confrontation with Jiangdong Group. Jiangdong Group was the apple of Ling Tian's eye. He wouldn't let Fang Hao easily lay his hands on it, and it might be detrimental to Fang Hao. Do you two have to be at each other's throats? Can't you peacefully coexist? Coming out of the study, Suro concluded that her husband was far from idle, and she couldn't relax either. Otherwise, given an opportunity, he could easily get her and Ling Tian into prison with an assassination. She wanted to go to another room but found it locked. When she tried to have her son find the key, he didn't know where it was either. Su-ro had a sudden idea and played a game of finding the key with her son. To her surprise, her son found it first, hidden at the bottom of a tissue box in the living room. "Great job, my son." Su-ro kissed her son, about to open the door, but Fang Hao, who appeared behind her at some point, snatched the key away. "Su-ro, she's about to come. You better leave, don't make everyone awkward." "I'm not leaving. Why should I? As long as I'm not embarrassed, others will be." "True. You've got a thick skin." Fang Hao took off his apron and headed out. Watching Fang Hao go downstairs, Su-ro frowned, clenched her fists, and her body trembled slightly. "My man, no one can take you away." She turned around and said to her son, "Later, your dad will bring your stepmom. She might hit you. You shouldn't be nice to her, understand?" "I know. I don't like my stepmom. I like mom." Her son casually replied, eyes not leaving the tablet in his hands. Su-ro said, "Then, when you meet her, spit on her, just like you did to your new dad last time." "Mom, I dare not. Dad will beat me." "If you don't spit, don't listen to me, then aren't you afraid of me beating you?" "Dad said I shouldn't listen to you. He said you've changed your mind, don't love us anymore, and only love your new husband. Don't listen to your dad. Mom loves you the most. You are the apple of mom's eye." Su-ro felt a slight chill in her heart. Living together with her husband and son, if her husband often spoke ill of her, it would definitely make her son grow distant from her. What should she do? Below, Fang Hao waited for 2 minutes and saw a domineering military jeep approaching. A young woman of similar height to him got out. She wore camouflage casual clothes, dark green boots, sunglasses, had short hair, and a healthy, sun-kissed complexion. The sunglasses couldn't conceal her perfect facial features. She might not have the large bust of his ex-wife, but it was not small either. Her figure was similar, though not as pronounced as his ex-wife's. However, her 2 long legs were more eye-catching. She was sunny, valiant, and completely different from his ex-wife in style. Could this girl be a female soldier? Fang Hao approached, tentatively asking, "Are you the one Director Huang mentioned as Hua Mulan?" "Dr. Fang, hello. Hua Mulan is just their random call. My last name is Gua, and my single name is Lan." The girl also walked over, evaluating Fang Hao. She found that Fang Hao was even more handsome than in the photos. Of course, compared to the legendary surgical genius who even Huang Yidao admitted was not as good as him, Fang Hao looked much more ordinary. She thought the first impression Fang Hao gave her was pretty good. She came forward, extended her hand, and shook hands with Fang Hao, then suddenly exerted force. Chapter 344, Awkward or Not. This woman. Fang Hao only felt a slight increase in pressure in his hand but didn't feel any pain. He asked, "Are you in the military?" "I applied quite a bit of force, why didn't he feel pain?" Guolan was surprised, feeling like she had punched into cotton, not showing any intimidation to Fang Hao. She released her grip and proudly said, "Yes, I'm a special forces soldier." Fang Hao breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Let's be straightforward. Director Huang asked me to invite you. My conditions aren't great. Firstly, I just got divorced and have a son. Work isn't going smoothly. As for you, your secretary Gua's granddaughter. The gap between us is quite substantial. I don't want to burden you. Also, I'm busy at noon, so I didn't come over. But, my ex-wife. I'm really troubled by her. So, taking advantage of this coincidence today, I decided to call you. I have intentions of using you, and I'll be honest about that. If you're not happy, you can leave now. You're quite honest. Actually, I don't mind remarriage or having a child. After all, we might not succeed." Guolan smiled, removed her sunglasses, revealing her entire face, and hung the sunglasses on the collar of her t-shirt, adding a touch of uninhibited charm. She said, "Actually, my situation is similar. Family pressures me to get married, friends are busy arranging blind dates for me. But I don't want to leave the army, I still want to live a free life. Oh, I'm 3 years older than you, turning 28 next year. So, when Director Huang gave me your information, I saw that you were divorced, had a child, completely different from others. Also, Director Huang said your medical skills are excellent, so I became interested and came to take a look." Fang Hao liked her directness. He said, "Director Huang only speaks highly of people. In reality, I'm not as good as he says." "No, Director Huang isn't praising you. He said you're indecisive, too kind, a boring person, and won't realize how outstanding you are without some pressure. He also said you're quite effeminate, still attached to your ex-wife, emotionally impulsive, dragging your feet. He even said you have the typical inferiority complex of rural youth. You underestimate yourself, having only a good appearance. Guolan rattled off like a machine gun, leaving Fang Hao dumbfounded. Shaking his head, he said, I didn't expect Director Huang to be like that. I blamed him for several big mistakes. Oh, never mind him. Today is quite coincidental. My ex-wife is also here. Do you want to meet her? This person? I don't know how to describe her. Anyway, she's currently pregnant with twins, claiming they're mine, using this to pressure me. Scolding her is useless, and I can't hit her. Doesn't matter. We may not succeed. Even if we do, I don't plan on having children. You already have a child, which isn't a bad thing. Guolan walked to the entrance of the elevator, suddenly stopped, and said, I seem to have forgotten something. That's even better. Fang Hao smiled slightly. If she came with bags and baggage, it would be like visiting, making his ex-wife look down on her. If she came empty-handed, it would be like returning home. Alright, we might not succeed anyway. Guolan's face turned slightly warm. She spread her hands, entered the elevator with Fang Hao, and went upstairs. The two women met soon. Are you Su Ro, the ex-wife? Truly beautiful. I, as a woman, even like your face. Guolan spoke first, then looked at Fang Tian hiding behind Su Ro. Her eyes lit up. This child was so beautiful. She asked, little guy, no greeting for auntie? Don't you like me? Su Ro felt uneasy, having a premonition that this woman could snatch her man and the family that originally belonged to her. She spoke calmly to her son, call her auntie. I don't like her. I don't want her to be my stepmom. The son spoke without reservation. Fang Hao was exasperated. He said, Tian, don't be disrespectful. Guolan smiled and said, it's okay. If he doesn't like me, and I don't like him either, let him live with his mom. Don't stay in your dad's home later. Otherwise, you won't be a man. I'm not leaving. You leave. This is my dad and mom's home. You leave. The son rushed out, pushing Guolan to leave, but Guolan had a sturdy base. No matter how hard the son pushed, he couldn't move her. But in the next second, the son kicked Guolan and used his little fists to pound her thighs and buttocks. Tian, come back. Tian, don't be rude. Su Ro and Fang Hao called out to their son in succession. It's okay, just playing with him. It's getting late, let's have dinner. We can talk while eating. Guolan not only didn't leave, but walked towards the bathroom. The son tried to stop her, but found it futile. He hugged Guolan's thighs tightly but couldn't prevent her from walking away. Instead, he hung on her thighs, being carried along. Fang Hao couldn't stand it and went over to pick up his son, saying, if you're disrespectful, Dad won't want you. Don't expect to stay with your mom either. Think about your mom's new husband, he'll squeeze you to death. Honey, don't say that. Su Ro approached, expressing dissatisfaction with Fang Hao's encouragement to alienate her son. She was not pleased. Honey? Didn't you divorce Fang Hao? Why are you still calling him honey? Guolan came out and heard Su Ro's words, showing a hint of dissatisfaction. Su Ro said, I called him my husband for 4 years, and I'm used to it. Besides, you and he aren't married, so it's none of your business. That's true. Before Fang Hao and I get married, you can call him that. But after we get married, I hope you stop calling him that. Show some respect for yourself. Finally, spare Fang Hao, and spare yourself too. Guolan remained calm and, noticing a small towel nearby, which belonged to Fang Tian, she picked it up to wipe her hands. She even waved at Fang Tian, showing off a bit. This is mine, bring it to me. Fang Tian fell for it. When he went to compete for the towel, Guolan lifted it slightly higher, making it unreachable even if he jumped. With a slight smile, Guolan casually placed the towel on the doorframe, then looked at Fang Tian triumphantly, implying, if you have the skills, go get it. To her surprise, Fang Tian really went over and quickly climbed up, taking down the towel. This, little guy, you're quite agile. Grow up quickly, and then let your stepmom take you to join the army. Guolan observed Fang Tian and changed her attitude, now really liking the little guy. I see he's restless too, with a bit of stubbornness. Joining the army might be a good choice for him. The food is getting cold, let's eat. Fang Hao naturally agreed and started arranging the meal. The four of them sat around the table, a bit awkward, but as the saying goes, as long as you don't feel awkward, it won't be awkward for others. Guolan wasn't polite, she started eating quickly. Her style was direct, eating and drinking fast. On the other hand, Su Ro chewed slowly, emphasizing delicacy. Guolan picked up some food for her son, who initially refused and put it in Fang Hao's bowl with a disgusted look. Guolan continued picking up food and said, "You won't eat what I picked? Is it poisonous? Then let Dad eat it all, and I'll see what you can eat." Hearing Guolan's words, the son reluctantly ate the food she picked. Su Ro frowned slightly but didn't say much. Guolan remembered something and said, "Fang, where's your daughter, Jia Jia? Why haven't I seen her?" Su Ro raised her eyebrows, thinking, didn't my husband tell Guolan the reason for our divorce? Does my husband still have feelings for me? Chapter 345, Shield. Fang Hao glanced at Su Ro, who remained extremely calm, and said, "Jia Jia is feeling a bit unwell and is being treated at the hospital." Guolan didn't understand the implication and asked, "Aren't you a doctor? How did your daughter get sick?" Fang Hao explained, "She is under her mother's care." It seemed that Fang Hao and Su Ro divorced, each taking care of one child. Guolan said to Su Ro, "I heard you're pregnant too, whether it's Fang's or not." Su Ro responded, "It's his." Guolan said, "That doesn't matter. Whether you decide to give birth or not, it's up to you. However, being heavily pregnant, you're not suitable to take care of Jia Jia. You should send her back to us. We'll raise her, and we'll definitely be more responsible than you." Mulberry Mulan, are soldiers really so straightforward? Are you stirring up trouble on purpose? Fang Hao lightly kicked Guolan under the table. Guolan didn't understand and thought Fang Hao was disapproving of her decision. She kicked back, trying to test Su Ro's attitude. So, she returned the kick. Su Ro said, "Alright, after Jia Jia is discharged, I'll hand her over to my husband." Damn it, Jia Jia is Fang Tian's offspring. What does handing her over to me mean? Fang Hao said, "Let's discuss this later." After dinner, Fang Hao and Guolan cleaned up the table. Fang Hao went to wash the dishes. Guolan stood at the door of the master bedroom, looking at Su Ro, who was already lying on the big bed. She asked, "Tonight, are you staying, or am I staying?" Su Ro frowned and locked eyes with Guolan. The son said, "Mom stays, stepmom, you go." Guolan smirked and said, "What do you want me to do? Call me a couple more times." Su Ro frowned even more. The son didn't understand and pointed at Su Ro, saying, "She's my mom." Then he pointed at Guolan, saying, "You're the stepmom." Su Ro sighed in her heart but didn't scold him. This woman, Guolan, posed a significant threat to her. Guolan's style was completely different, unrestrained, very straightforward, not at all reserved. Guolan treated this place like her own home. With this different style, Guolan quickly entered her husband's heart. If her husband had Guolan in his heart, there wouldn't be room for me. Once her husband and Guolan got married, that would be a military marriage. What would happen to me then? Guolan responded twice in a row, saying, "Little darling, you're really sensible. Tonight, let your mom stay, and I'll come another day." She went to find Fang Hao, who had also finished in the kitchen. She expressed her intention to leave. Fang Hao didn't insist but asked his son to come out to bid farewell. Unexpectedly, the son shouted, "Goodbye, stepmom," leaving him a bit stunned. In the elevator, Guolan had a satisfied smile and said, "Your culinary skills are excellent. Your son is adorable. You're a good family man, and your medical skills are outstanding. You're quite perfect. I can't understand why your ex-wife wanted to divorce you. It's the first time you've seen me, and in reality, what I told Director Huang might be quite similar to what you said. I'm not as good as you think. To be frank, my ex-wife found someone more outstanding than me." "Oh, why did she still cling to your home then?" "I also don't understand. Maybe she thinks there's no commitment from her man outside. Perhaps she insists that the child in her belly is mine, or maybe my medical skills are useful for treating her mother. I still have some value to her. In any case, life is like this, and I've turned it into a mess." After leaving the elevator, Fang Hao handed her a pack of tissues and said, "If you feel nauseous and want to throw up, there's a place over there." "Hee, I'm not that fussy. I've eaten raw snake and rat meat during wilderness training. This meal won't trigger my moral cleanliness. I'm fine, so there's no need to waste food." Guolan got into her car. Fang Hao approached and saw Guolan pulling up the seatbelt but not securing it. He wondered if this was the style of a special forces soldier. He cleared his throat and said, "Although I may not be guessing right, silence won't make me happy. What do you need me to do?" Guolan asked back, "Why do you think I need you to do something?" Fang Hao replied, "It's obvious. It might be something I need you to do, or maybe not. There are two things. Firstly, my grandfather's health is not very good. If he really retires here for recuperation and I need your medical skills, I hope you won't hide your abilities. Secondly, I might arrange for you to meet my parents. At that time, you need to play the role of a shield, just like you did earlier. I only do things within my capabilities. If it goes beyond my ability, you'll have to find someone more capable. Understood. Perhaps we'll meet again if fate allows. Guolan started her car and left. Fang Hao lit a cigarette, smoked it, and then went upstairs. Suro came to the living room, saw Fang Hao coming up, and approached him. She sniffed around him and said, "You smoked. Is it to cover up the smell of Guolan on you? Did you two kiss and hug? Are you a dog to use your nose like that?" Fang Hao asked again, "Were you embarrassed just now?" "Not at all." Fang Hao sneered, "Of course, you and Zhou Jiejia, you and Cheng Yu, you and Zhou Yun, a combination of doubles, let old Xing play, so you don't know what embarrassment is." But I felt embarrassed. I brought a woman home, and there's still an ex here. If someone doesn't know, they might think I'm eating from both pots and looking at two bowls. Damn it. Husband, you misunderstood me. I'm not that low. I haven't spent time with my son for a few days. I'll stay tonight and accompany my son. Suro didn't look at Fang Hao's expression and went back to the master bedroom. Fang Hao was speechless. Just then, he received a call from Huang Yidao, so he went out. Huang Yidao was waiting in front of the inpatient building. He said to Fang Hao, "I just made an appointment with Hua Mulan. How did it go?" "Don't mention it. My ex-wife, Guolan, my son, and I all had dinner together at my home. It was very awkward." "Your ex-wife, didn't you resolve it quickly with decisive measures?" "I did, but my ex-wife is too. Let's not talk about that. On my way here, Chen Yuan also called me, saying it's a consultation for Zhou Fen. Why did he ask me to come? Zhou Fen is my former mother-in-law. I should avoid suspicion." Fang Hao was speechless. Huang Yidao said, "You can't avoid it. They are coming for you. Of course, the initiative is in your hands. Go up and listen." Fang Hao went up and found Zhou Xiang and others from the Zhou family, Su Buiyuan and others from the Su family, and even representatives from the mathematics group of the Chinese Academy of Sciences. As soon as he entered, everyone looked at him. Su Buiyuan stood up directly and said, "Fang Hao, you're here. We plan to send your mother back to you for treatment. Can you help her recover her memory?" Fang Hao frowned. They wanted him to clean up the mess again. He picked up a pile of examination reports in front of him and slammed it heavily on the desk. He looked at Su Buiyuan, Zhou Xiang, and said discontentedly, "When I went to Tianyi Hospital, how did each of you talk to me? You said I divorced Su Rou, said I wasn't Professor Zhou's son-in-law anymore, said I was an outsider, said I was young, had no beard on my lips, and no abilities. I wasn't qualified to treat Professor Zhou. You believed in outside experts and professors, so why don't you go to them for treatment?" He kicked away the chair beside him, saying, "Professor Zhou was injected with this poison at Tianyi Hospital. Someone tried to harm Professor Zhou's brain and make her lose her memory. You have the ability. Instead of investigating the perpetrator, what are you doing? What are you all doing? You all say Professor Zhou is your family, but are these just empty words? What have you done for her? As Professor Zhou's family, you're foolish, stubborn, arrogant, and numb. You're too self-righteous." The faces of Su Buiyuan and Zhou Xiang, and other relatives of Zhou Fen couldn't hold up. "Fang Hao, say a few less words. Saving your mother is the priority now. If you believe I can cure her, transfer her back. This kind of consultation is a complete waste of time. The longer it is delayed, the more severe Professor Zhou's condition will become, and the harder it will be to treat. You can figure it out for yourselves." Fang Hao kicked the door and left.